Professor Dr. Mahesh is a BTech, MS and PhD in Mechanical Engineering, is a big sports fan and sees a lot of potential in the sports industry as well as the emerging sports tech industry. Please, sir.
So can we cue up the short video, please? Good morning. Good morning and welcome to this morning's event. The Director General of Sports Authority of India, Shri Sandeep Pradhanji, the Chief Secretary of Goa, Shri Puneet Kumar Goelji, my colleagues Professor Rajagopalan and Professor Arun Tittai, my colleague Ramesh Kumar, who leads the Center of Excellence for Sports Science and Analytics at IIT Madras, all of our dear colleagues and friends from the fraternity of sports and sports science, welcome and good morning. Namaskar. It's a delight to be welcoming all of you and talking to you a little bit about the broader vision for what this center stands for, and maybe take a couple of minutes to lay the initial thoughts that got us thinking towards the genesis of this center. For the longest time, IITs have been known to be good technology institutions. They've worked with practically every industry in the country. You take the chemical processing industry, our defense, our space tech industry, our IT industry. All the IITs have very deep connections to all of these industries. They've done product development, they've trained manpower to go work in these industries. They've contributed both intellectually and physically. When we were studying the context of sports science and technology in India, and especially the connect between IIT Madras and IITs to sports science broadly, we had to look very hard and still found nothing. So we said this cannot be an industry that is untouched by the science and technology and all the knowledge that is in the IITs. That was the reason we said we have to build this bridge between IIT Madras and the sporting fraternity. Coaches, athletes, sports scientists, exercise physiologists, the broader set of people that are now involved in making sure that our athletes go on to do well in their professions. Our athletes go to the Olympics and excel, and go to other international games and excel. With that single point focus, we said we have to create a platform where we in this room, who would not have come together otherwise, have to now come together and do the same things that have happened in the space industry 25 years ago. When ISRO was struggling with some of their problems, I know some of my colleagues who would work with ISRO scientists to make sure collaboratively they solved the problem. I thought, why can't we replicate that same success in the realm of sports science and technology? And that was sort of the overall motivation for creating this Center of Excellence, which is now about 4 years old. The center stands primarily on 3 pillars. We want to develop science, technology, and products that our athletes, coaches, and the fraternity can use. Preferably make them in India too. There are a lot of opportunities for products that are relatively simple, rather easy to make right here in India. Somebody yesterday Declan was pointing a simple scenario. A swimmer, when they reach the end of the pool, they touch a pad that counts their time. This today is imported from Omega. It's as simple a technology as it comes. And I understand that there is a regulatory aspect around it. But that's not an unsolvable problem. So we said, let's make a beginning. Let's start developing some of these products. And so in that context, we've been extremely fortunate to have a fellow IITian leading Sai, Sandeep Pradhanji. He has been amazingly supportive of this whole initiative. To really understand where technology can make a difference. And every time I'm afraid to spend an hour with him because I will have 4 action items at the end. But that's the way we want to move forward also. This has really been a very exciting partnership because it's a partnership of unlike minds. So that technology and science development is one part. A big vertical that we are here today to talk about is startups in this space of sports science. You'll see several that are showcased outside, several that were showcased on this stage yesterday, and we have hundreds more in India that we are now in the process of reaching out to. We just don't have time to showcase them all here for you, but in due course of time, we want to make that happen. The third and the most important pillar, where we've already seen quite a bit of action, is on the sports education front. The government of India has invested heavily in one of the world's most active online learning platforms called Swayam. Swayam has its genesis at IIT Madras in the form of NPTEL. Today, over 20 lakh students learn and get certificates every year. And over 1 crore students are learning something or the other with or without a certificate every year. By far, the world's most active online learning platform. So we said, I'm sure many of you in this room have not heard of Swayam. But if you want to learn anything science, engineering, arts, humanities, there is only one place in the world to go. That is Swayam. So we said, why not add content related to sports science to Swayam and NPTEL broadly? So that's where we took on ourselves and created a small bouquet of 7 courses on strength and conditioning, nutrition, sports psychology. And we put them out for people to consume. These were taught by some of the best people in India, Colonel Dr. Anup Krishnan, Declan, Geeta, and others. And in this process, we found that there was such an interest in the broader public that we had over 20,000 students register in just 3 weeks' time to learn from these modules that we put out for free for people to learn. So with that initial success under our belt, we wanted to now build on it. And the second phase of these Swayam courses are going to go live in January. The learning materials are now being developed. They will include a toolkit for physical education teachers, basics. So anybody that wants to become a PE teacher in India, and we all know how much of a shortage there is for PE education in India, this is a first place to go. Start here and go on to do other things. Second is a toolkit for PE teachers, which is a little more comprehensive and advanced version. That would be 30 hours. So the 10 hours plus the 30 hours would be a full semester long, 4-month PE training program. Again, it's a starting point. That's not enough for a person to go become a teacher in a school, but by then they would have gotten to a sufficient level of proficiency. And more importantly, this content is developed by the best PE teachers in India. So everybody in India can learn from the best PE teachers, just like NPTEL was imagined with the vision that every student in India can learn from an IIT professor. So the same idea should now be extended to sports science. And along that, we also want to look at anti-doping awareness, ethics in sports. This is something we want to introduce to our young men and women who want to become athletes. Introduce them to the do's and don'ts. Introduce them to what are the core ethical principles that one needs to abide by as they learn to become sports people. Introduction to physical medicine and rehabilitation in sports. This is also an area that we know is very important for our young men and women. And finally, sports conditioning program design. We want to look at how to create somebody that wants to create a sports conditioning program. What are the elements of the design of that program? Along this, we want to rely heavily on NCSSR, SAI, and all of the establishment that we have available to us. Draw from them the best people to come teach these courses in our studios at IIT Madras or at any other IIT, and go on to do more things go on to create a set of learning materials that all of us can benefit from. Everybody in India that is an amateur sports enthusiast should be able to learn from these materials. One of the courses that is now in the works, that is still sort of taking shape, is this whole idea of analytics for sports, data analytics. There is a wealth of knowledge that India will need if we want to go on to do well in Olympics. We need an army of these analysts embedded into every sport of some importance in the country. We just don't have that many data analysts in the country today. So these are all some of the ideas around education where we believe CESA, along with partners like SAI, NCSSR, and several of our industry partners, we will come on to make a big difference to the community here in India. Our vision is perfectly aligned with SAI, NCSSR, the ministry, or anybody else. We want to see our athletes and coaches do well. We want to see our athletes bring laurels to the country. And with that, I am very happy that DG Sandeep Pradhanji has made the time to come. We all know how busy of a man he is, and a few days before the Olympics are to start, he is an extremely busy person. Thank you very much, sir,